wager it will fascinate the children, at least until we find out what it is. As it happened, it fascinated the adults as well. In the following days, since none of the family owned up to having put it there, the present created a sensation. Just about all of the adults poked, shook, or otherwise examined it, yet no one could figure out what it might be or whom it was for. Those having arrived so far were gathered in the parlour the night when Amy walked in holding one of her twins. "Don't ask me why we're late. You wouldn't believe it," she said. Then in the next breath, "First, the wheel on the coach fell off. Then, not a mile down the road, one of the horses lost not one, but two of his shoes. After we finally get that all taken care of and we're almost here, the bloody axle broke. I thought surely Warren was going to kill that poor coach by then. He certainly kicked it enough. If I didn't think to wager with him that we would arrive here today, I really don't think we would have. But you know I never lose a wager, so... By the by, Uncle Jason, what's an unmarked grave doing in that lovely clearing east of here? The one close to the road that runs through your property? We ended up walking through it to get here, since it was the shorter route by that point, just to head across that clearing." No one said a word at first, still in bemusement after that long dissertation. But then Derek said, "Remember that grave myself, now that you mention it, cousin. Reggie and I came across it when we were young'uns gadding about the estate. Always meant to ask you about it, father, just never got around to it, then forgot about it." They were all looking toward Jason by then, but he merely shrugged his broad shoulders. "Devil if I know who was laid to rest there. That grave has been there since before I was born. Asked my father about it once, as I recall, but he put off answering. Hemmed and hawed so much, actually, that I figured he just didn't know, so I didn't ask again. Think we've all come across that grave at one time or another, at least those of us who were raised here," Anthony remarked to no one in particular. "Strange place for a grave, and a well-tended one at that, when there are two cemeteries nearby, not to mention the ancestral cemetery right here on the property." Judith, who had been standing next to the pedestal staring at the mysterious present, came over to her cousin Amy and held up her arms to take the 2-year-old twin from her. Judy was tall for her age and very good with the toddlers. Amy was only surprised that she got no greeting and said so. "Where's my hug, puss?" Those exquisite features just stared at her mulishly. Amy raised a brow toward the girl's father. Anthony rolled his eyes but explained, "She's pouting 'cause Jack ain't here yet." Jack was James and Georgina's oldest daughter. Everyone knew that Jack and Judy, who were only months apart in age, were inseparable when they were together, and they were so fond of each other that their parents made sure they were often together, especially since neither was very happy when they were separated for very long. "I'm not," Judith denied in a pouting mumble as she marched back to the pedestal. Jason was the only one to notice when Amy's attention centered on the present that had garnered everyone's curiosity. He would have thought nothing of it, except for her expression. Her brief frown made him wonder if she was getting one of her feelings about it. This niece of his had phenomenal luck, never having lost a wager in her life, which she attributed to these feelings, as she called them, that she got. Jason considered such things as feelings exceeding strange, which was why he would as soon not hear if she was getting one now. So he was relieved when her frown eased and she gave her attention back to his brother. "Uncle James hasn't arrived yet, then?" Amy surmised from Anthony's last response. Anthony did some mumbling himself. "No, and hopefully he won't." "Oh, dear. You two are fighting?" Amy surmised again. "Me? Fight my dear brother. Wouldn't think of it," Anthony replied then, "but someone bloody well ought to tell him this is the season for good cheer." Derek chuckled at his uncle's sour expression. "Heard a rumour Uncle James was out for your hide? What set him off this time? If I knew, then I'd know how to defuse him. But I'm deuced if I know. Ain't seen James for a good week, not since I dropped off Jack after the outing I took the girls on." "Well, James would have let me know if he wasn't coming," Jason pointed out. "So when he gets here, kindly take any altercations outside. Molly seriously objects to blood staining the carpets." No one would think it